I'm going to start off serious, and then I'm going to get a little funny, and then I'm going to end serious. So the first serious part is John Dickinson, who was one of the Pennsylvania signers of the Declaration of Independence. So I'm going to read a quote from him. Kings or Parliament will not give the rights essential to happiness. We claim these from a higher source, from the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. They are not annexed to us by Parliament or seals. They are created in us by the decree of providence, which established the laws of our nature. They are also born within us. They cannot be taken from us by human power. And that's John Dickinson, one of the signers of the Pennsylvania, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence from Pennsylvania. So I'd like to introduce Mother, if I get this wrong, 93-year-old, my mom. 93, she soon turns 94 in January. So my mother's here. My wife, Suzanne, coming up on 48 years, if I have that right. So my wife. My son, Rob, his wife, Coco, and two of my grandchildren, Brooke and Jewel, are here. Just one thing, and most of you know this, but I could not have done this job if it wasn't for my wife. She would correct my speeches. She's a good speechwriter, and just all kinds of things that we have to put up with and we take home. And being away, and some of you who live even farther away than I do, that's even more of a challenge than it is for me. So, as the speaker has said, my family is a family of service. So, two of my children are missionaries. Rob, he goes over and puts out fires. So he's been to Venezuela and to Papua New Guinea, and currently he's not any of those places. And then my youngest, Joel, has 17 years all active duty in the United States Army. I have 14 grandchildren, and so we're a well-blessed family. And we hold most of you, if not all of you, from time to time, up in our prayers at home. So just this morning, Suzanne and I, we prayed for the speaker. We prayed for Majority Leader Reed. We do that. I don't see Sid Kovolich. Are you out there? We prayed with you when you had your medical situations. We're now praying for Representative Pyle and Representative O'Brien with their current medical issues. So we pray for you folks here often. So in the back, I don't see Carol, who was with me a long time. Elizabeth is here, I think. Is she here? Elizabeth back there. Jared is there. Yvonne, who has been with me from the very beginning in my district office, is not here. Scott Little is not here either, I don't think. He's my PR guy, almost from the very beginning. And I've always told Scott that there was a certain member that I tried to achieve, and then a couple weeks ago when I achieved international or national fame, he said, I think you finally got close. The York delegation, which was a tremendous organization. So in December of 2008, Seth, I think you were there at that very first meeting. I showed up in a brand new suit coat. You have to buy suit coats and suits in this job. I showed up I thought it was going to be very serious operation. Keith, you're laughing already. It wasn't. So Stan Saylor, Ron Miller, I don't know if any of you remember Ron Miller, right away they start picking on each other, and it wasn't a serious organization at all. But we did accomplish things. So the York delegation was really, really great. Dan Mao. Been a lot of things. I have multiple cards. Dan Mao can talk 2 hours off of one 3x5 card, by the way. But Dan Mao, I've gotten to know really, really well. I now consider him a friend. I got chicken grease all over us this past weekend from cooking chickens with Dan Mao. Mike Reese, he doesn't know anything about U.S. history, but Mike Reese I consider a friend also. He's been to my house all the way from Westmoreland County. And just to share a little bit, Mike, so my mother's maiden name is Quiggle, and Mike Hanna has a Quiggle. So Mike Hanna, I think I'm third cousins. We're third cousins twice removed, something like that. You can talk to my mother, Mike. She'll give you the dates and who they were. But so Mike Hanna and I are related somehow. Like I said, third cousin twice removed. But the Quiggles, a Quiggle was a signer of the Declaration of Independence signed at Tyodot Elm. I don't know if you knew that, Mike, but there was a Quiggle signed that. What's that in Pennsylvania history? Then the Tallman side of the family, we were Connecticut Yankees, and many people don't know what that is either. But I got a history book, History of Montour County, and it talks about the Connecticut Yankees. Jerry Stern's here. I didn't know you were going to be here, Jerry. My first term, I laid on your couch and got psychological counseling. That didn't happen too well. Then Mark Keller, who's, I don't know if he's back there. I used to go into his office. His was right across the aisle from mine, and I used to go in from him, and he used to always offer me some hard stuff to get over my angst with how the house operated. So Aaron Cover is back there. And we would have very, very interesting conversations typically about Israel and about the politics and Jewish life. And so very, very interesting conversations with Aaron, very insightful conversations, because one of our goals when we retire is to go visit Israel. And Aaron has set me up with all kinds of things to do and people to talk to. I'm not sure that's wise, but that's another thing. Tim Hennessy, my very first day on this House floor, if some of you remember, Seth, you remember, we spent hours in debate. We got to miss, I think most of you guys that came in with him, Mike and Carl and some of you other, we didn't get to do our dinner that we typically have. We would spend our time in caucus and debating here on the House floor. And Tim Hennessy, when I came down and he said, how's it going to feel to lose your first vote? Which I did. I lost my very first vote here on the House floor. But sitting next to Tim was an entertainment. Tim always kept me entertained. You could not do anything when you're sitting next to Tim Hennessy. So, now I'm going to get just a little bit serious. The two things I'd like to get accomplished, and I was not able to do it. Property tax. We need property tax relief. Hopefully we can do it next session. And I told Tom Creighton, you guys probably forgot Tom Creighton too, but I told Tom Creighton, I said, state government is broken, and I've proven to myself that it is broken. Not so much here, but the agencies that we deal with. Customer service, we need to have that as an aspect of our customer service. Now I'm going to get just a little bit serious. So on the ceiling of the Capitol, we have John 8:32. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 14:6, just a little bit later down, Jesus said, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. And so that truth that it speaks about up there, it's actually speaking about Jesus. So we need to be that. So finally, I don't know where I'm at, Dave, on your timer, but finally, retirement frees us, that's Suzanne and I, to volunteer more thoughtfully and effectively due to our life experiences and to devote more time to such endeavors. It's now possible to do now that we're not going to be working. So what lies ahead for me? There's some mission projects, you know, some of I've shared with. My wife and I would probably like to do a long-term mission project over to Papua New Guinea, and she's considering teaching. I'm just going to go over to cause trouble, and as most of you know that we can do. And so, we're also going to get involved in some local projects. So my wife and I are going to be involved in volunteer activities. It's been a joy to be with you. Some of you have gotten to know very much. I know Leader Reed and Speaker Turzai are not going to miss me. They're going to be thankful that I'm leaving. But anyways, it's been a joy to get you know, even Mike and Dave. And Dave and I have had some serious conversations over the years, and I do appreciate some of those, you know, straightforward conversations. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.